At the Table with Friends is brought to you by the Friends Fellowship community, providing the resources to help you navigate the ins and outs of senior living, regardless of where you are at in your journey. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dana Shore. I'm the Director of Sales at Friends Fellowship Community and the host for today's episode, How Friends Fellowship Community is a Step Above and Uniquely Different. Our guest is John Robinson, the President of Friends Fellowship Community. John will be sharing his 25 years of financial knowledge, as well as his knowledge of life care, life lease, and the continuum of care provided here at Friends Fellowship Community. All of these significant services sets Friends Fellowship Community apart from many other senior facilities in East Central Indiana. Thanks for joining me today, John. I'm really excited that we get the opportunity to answer some questions that maybe some of our viewers have about Friends Fellowship Community.
Well, thank you, Dana. It's a pleasure to be here today and to be the second guest on At the Table with Friends. So I'm excited to be here and thank you.
You're very welcome. We're excited to have you here. In a previous At the Table with Friends, we had Jay Marshall, chairman of the board, and he talked a lot about continuum of care here at Friends Fellowship and the importance of that. And I was wondering if you might be able to share with our viewers just exactly what is a continuum of care and why that's so important here at Friends Fellowship.
Well, sure. That's a good question, Dana. The continuum of care is somewhat unique to Friends Fellowship. It's not unique across Indiana or the country, but for Wayne County, Friends Fellowship is certainly unique in providing the continuum of care. And essentially what that means is that as someone that moves to Friends Fellowship, as their needs change, we have the accommodation to meet their needs. Folks can actually enter anywhere in the continuum. We have some that come directly to the courtyards, some that come into the main building, some that may skip over assisted residential and go to the healthcare center, but that's what the continuum is all about. So we actually have that full continuum from complete independence to the memory care. We have also, over the years, prided ourselves on the fact that it's not always moving one way through the continuum, but we actually have folks that may move back in the other direction. Our goal is to promote independence for our residents as long as possible, and in that case, actually go backwards in the continuum. So, as I said, we're unique enrichment to that, and is one of the primary benefits that people have in moving to Friends Fellowship.
So in addition to levels of accommodation or levels of care, as some people might be familiar with, Friends Fellowship is a life care community. So can you kind of explain what a life care community is here at Friends Fellowship?
Sure, Dana. Friends Fellowship actually has provided life care since 1965. So that's over 57 years of providing the life care option or the life care concept. In the, I guess what I'd say the industry here, life care has become more of a common term in the last 6 or 7 years, replacing continuing care retirement community or CCRC. But as I said, Friends Fellowship's been doing life care since its very beginning. For life care at Friends Fellowship, that involves what we call paying a life lease fee or an entry fee, and that life lease guarantees or assures lifetime care at Friends Fellowship. So we not only provide the security of living at Friends Fellowship, but the financial security of living here as well.
Okay. Can you kind of expand on that? What's the difference between life care and life lease?
So actually, Dana, paying the life lease is similar to an insurance contract or buying insurance for your long-term financial stability here at Friends Fellowship. So again, the difference between life care and life lease is life care is really a concept, and what we provide, the way you accomplish that is by paying the life lease and entering into a life lease contract with Friends Fellowship.
So John, we talked about the benefits of life care. Does life care cost extra?
That it costs extra from the standpoint that you do pay the one-time entry fee to Friends Fellowship. There's also associated with that what we call the monthly care fee. and that pays for your room and board, your 3 meals a day, transportation services, includes cable TV, 1,000 channels, and also we have Wi-Fi available throughout the main building for our residents to use as well.
Are there other options at Friends Fellowship, John?
That's a very good question, Dana. We actually have, as we've talked about, the life lease fee option under Life Care. And then we also have what we call the rental option. The rental option is available in our assisted living, the healthcare center, and the courtyards or memory care unit. And then we offer the life lease option throughout all 6 areas. Okay. The life lease, as I mentioned earlier, does guarantee or assure lifetime care at Friends Fellowship, and that's the one-time entry fee that you pay. The rental option, that's again available in the 3 areas, that's actually on a kind of a pay-as-you-go scenario, so that if you were to exhaust your resources under that program, you would need to move to another facility. So that's definitely different than the life lease option, that when you pay that life lease fee, you're getting the guarantee of lifetime care at Friends Fellowship.
Well, I really like the way that you really hit on the 2 main things about life care here at Friends Fellowship. Number 1 is they're going to be guaranteed lifetime care. So that's peace of mind for them and their family members to know that they're always going to be taken care of, but also that they're actually paying less for their health care, where someone coming in with the rental option is paying market rate or a premium price. So I appreciate you sharing those 2 advantages.
Sure, happy to do so.
Okay, another question that I get asked a lot, John, is what happens if I come into Friends Fellowship and pay the life lease fee, and all of a sudden I decide maybe I want to move closer to family, or my circumstances change and I no longer need to live here at Friends Fellowship?
We do have a refund policy on the life lease. After the first 3 months, it's 100% refundable minus a $2,500 administrative fee. And then in month 4, you get 84% of it back, and the administrative fee does not come out at that time, but it's 84% of what they paid in the life lease. And then that goes down 4% a month until you get to month 24, and 4% is refundable. So it's essentially a 2-year refundable policy that goes down 4% each month. So that does provide some peace of mind too for someone moving here, that for some reason circumstances change and they decide to leave, that there is a refund of that. We've also had circumstances where someone has decided that they want to move down to Florida, and they're past the 2-year refund period. We still honor that life lease, and in a couple years, and we've had this happen before, where they decide they don't want to live in Florida any longer, and they want to move back to Richmond, that as long as they still qualify financially, that they can come back without paying that life lease again, and we will honor the life lease that they paid originally. So
it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Can you explain how someone would become a life care resident?
Sure, Dana. There's a very short, simple application that we have prospective residents fill out that asks for just some personal information, and then we also do require financial information.
Do I have to include my financial statements? Do I have to turn those in to you?
So there are times, Dana, when we receive an application that we may need to ask for some additional information. We also will, if we feel someone is not sure whether they'll qualify financially or not, we will go ahead and have them just provide us the financial information, and then we'll run our financial projections. And if they do qualify financially, we'll have them go ahead and complete the rest of the application. There is a $200 application fee that goes along with that. So in pre-qualifying someone financially, we won't take the $200 till we know that they're qualified financially before we actually take that money and proceed with the application. So that's a way too, where we've always encouraged people that if they're not sure whether they qualify financially or not, to just come and
Just
give us the
at least-
financial information, and we'll run the projections and see if it works or not. So we're want to do as much as we can and be as creative as we can to make sure that we can get someone to qualify financially. So.
Yeah, I know time after time I've had people tell me, oh, I don't think I'm going to qualify. And I just suggest that they go ahead and complete the application. And then they're surprised to find out that they now can become a member here at Friends Fellowship. So we've made a lot of people happy that way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it does, and we have a variety of ways that people do qualify financially. We have circumstances where someone may have a lot in assets, but may not have much in monthly income. And then we can have the reverse, where someone may not have much in assets, but actually have very substantial monthly income. So I've had people ask, and I know you have too, is it just exactly what it takes, that there's some magic number or how much do I have to have? And it really does vary from person to person, and again, as I said, what they have in assets and what they have in income. And it also depends too on what area of accommodation they're going to move into.
Can you give us an idea of what life lease might cost?
Sure, Dana. Our life lease fees begin at $31,000, and that's for a studio apartment, and can go up to just a little bit over $100,000. And how that life lease is determined is actually based on the size of the apartment or accommodation or the real estate, and whether it's one person in the contract or whether it's two people in the contract. And for some folks, when you actually look at that from $31,000 to $100,000, may think, well, that's a lot of money. And you're really, in some respects, just exchanging the cost of your house that you live in now to the cost of paying the life lease here at Friends Fellowship. And in addition to that, you actually get that guarantee or assurance of lifetime care by paying that life lease. You also, when you think of what it costs to live here on a monthly basis with the monthly care fee, which is for one person just around $2,700, and for two people it's about $4,000 a month. And again, that may seem like a lot, but when you really think about when you're living in your house and you're paying your property taxes and you're paying someone to mow your yard, rake your leaves, come shovel your snow in the wintertime, you're preparing and buying your food and paying for your TV and your telephone and all those services and things that take to live in your house, you can very quickly get up to what it costs to live here at Friends Fellowship on a monthly basis, in addition to the other services that we provide with the transportation and life enhancement activities and things like that. So I think when you really look at it and think of it in the perspective what it costs not to live at Friends Fellowship, it really is a bargain for that life lease and what you get in return.
So you don't have to be a millionaire to live here?
Dana, that is exactly right. That is another big misnomer or urban legend about Friends Fellowship. And that's one of those things too, since I first started working here back in 1998, is that you would hear that only rich people lived at Friends Fellowship and just lawyers and doctors. But we have folks from just a vast variety of occupations and things that they've done in their life that live at Friends Fellowship. So you absolutely do not have to be a millionaire to live at Friends Fellowship.
Well, thank you for clarifying that,
well,
John.
Certainly.
So people have a fear that Friends Fellowship is going to take over their personal finances and take their homes. We both know that's a misnomer, but can you kind of help ease everyone's mind about that?
Oh, certainly. That is certainly, for the 25 years I've been at Friends Fellowship, that was probably one of the first things I heard when I first came to work here. And I can tell you personally, and being in charge of the finances here for many years, that that's the last thing we want to do, is take over people's personal finances and actually manage their personal finances for them. So when you move to Friends Fellowship, you keep your checkbook, you pay your bills and handle your finances as you did at your house, or at your home. So we do not take control of those. Your Social Security still goes into your checking or your savings account. It doesn't come to Friends Fellowship. And you just, when you move here, you can write us a check, or we do an auto withdraw for the monthly payments. So we absolutely do not take over control of the personal finances, and we certainly don't take control of houses finances either. As I mentioned earlier, we want people to remain independent as long as possible, and work toward that the best we can. And certainly managing your personal finances is one of those things as well that we want and encourage people to stay independent as long as possible and do those things for themselves and not have us doing them for them.
So, John, we have a lot of residents that come here that have long-term care insurance. So, how does that work in conjunction with life care?
Sure. We actually, with the long-term care insurance, it actually kind of has two things with that. One is we have had instances where the long-term care insurance is what makes the difference in being able to qualify someone financially. So they may be a little weak on the assets or the income, and that long-term care insurance, certainly as someone progresses through the continuum, and if they end up in the healthcare center, and that's typically where you would have a long-term care policy pay its benefits. Some do assisted living, some do memory care as well. But certainly that there is a higher cost when you move to that area, and that's where that long-term care policy can actually be a benefit and actually qualify someone financially. So we have some applicants where we actually make that a condition that in order to qualify them financially, they need to maintain that long-term care policy. Now, there may be other folks that really don't need the long-term care policy to qualify financially, but originally got that as a means to protect assets, and maybe that they want to be able to leave money to their children, or maybe their favorite charity, and that's an instance where having that long-term care policy, even though it's not necessary for them to stay at Friends Fellowship, is something that they can maintain so that they can preserve their other assets that they can leave for their children or favorite charity or other family members. So actually kind of conserve a dual purpose, and really depends on the individual situation.
Okay, thank you. So Friends Fellowship chooses not to be Medicare certified. How does that factor into new residents or our existing residents?
Well, the choice of not being Medicare certified actually goes back many, many years. One thing I'll share with folks is that Friends Fellowship was actually the first nursing facility in Wayne County to actually become Medicare certified. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy with Medicare, and our board in the early 70s decided that it was better to exit Medicare, and we actually have a program that we provide our life lease residents, which is actually another benefit of paying that life lease fee, where we actually essentially provide or mirror a Medicare benefit for our life lease residents that have a qualifying stay in the hospital and come back to our healthcare center, and they can essentially stay up to a total of 60 days in our healthcare center and not pay the daily nursing fee, and just continue to pay their monthly care fee, which they would be paying in their apartment. And then we have an independent therapy company that provides occupational, speech, and physical therapy that can be used by our residents in the healthcare center and can be billed to Medicare Part B. So in some respects, not paying the additional daily fee for the nursing services, using those therapy services that can be billed at Medicare Part B, can actually be a better benefit than what someone would receive if they were actually receiving a Medicare or receiving a Medicare benefit or a Medicare stay.
How does Medicaid factor into all of this, John?
Well, and that actually can be an area that people get confused about, and the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. Medicare is actually a short-term type of rehab benefit, and I think people get that confused with Medicaid, which is a long-term benefit for someone that actually needs assistance from the government to be able to pay for their care, for nursing care. So we have some people that think that Medicare is something that pays for the long term, but again, that's just for a short-term stay, and that really requires that maybe you've had to have hip surgery, or you've been in the hospital with pneumonia, or had a knee replacement, and where you need a short-term rehab stay, that's what would be covered by Medicare. That's not covered by Medicaid. For Friends Fellowship, in paying that life lease that we've talked about and that guarantees and assures lifetime care, that's really our way as a private organization of mirroring or providing what Medicaid does, so that our residents that have paid that life lease, at some point when they exhaust, if they do exhaust their personal resources, then we actually sit down with the resident or their personal representative, and we do require them to take their assets down to about $5,000. We leave a little bit of a cushion there just in case there's some unexpected expenses. We have them look at and show us what they have in monthly income and then what they have in personal expenses. And that's not what the cost of care here at Friends Fellowship is, but just for getting their hair done, if they have groceries, personal items, if they have a Medicare supplement policy, the cost of that. So we look at what they have in monthly income, what they have in personal expenses, and then hopefully there's a little more in income than there is in expenses. And so that difference is then what we will apply toward their monthly bill. So if someone after that analysis has $500 available and essentially excess funds each month, then when they receive their monthly statement, it will show that they owe $500 rather than what the full cost of their care is. So the way that we pay for that is for our endowment fund, and based on our 501c3 designation as a not-for-profit organization, which is because of the charitable function that we provide or serve through providing that charitable assistance, is how we provide that assistance to our residents. So that comes through our endowment fund, and again, that is that assurance of lifetime care for those residents that will never have to leave Friends Fellowship because of their personal financial resources becoming exhausted. And then that's also our way, again, as a not-for-profit. We're providing assistance for those individuals so that the government doesn't have to do that through the Medicaid program. And that's one of the reasons that not-for-profits came into existence, was that they are expected to provide some type of assistance to the community that the government no longer has to do. And obviously the government still provides Medicaid,
Right.
but the residents that we are providing financial assistance to are not relying on the government to do that through Medicaid. So Dana, I really enjoyed being here today and being at the table with friends. As a surprise, we're going to flip the table on you here.
Okay.
And would like to know what you think are the 4 major things that differentiate Friends Fellowship from other senior living providers here in Richmond.
Well, that really is an easy question for me to answer because I do think that there are 4 major things that set us apart. Number 1 would be the continuum of care. We offer independent living all the way through assisted living, healthcare center, and our courtyards or our memory care. We are also the only community in Wayne County and the surrounding area that offers life care and the life lease option for our residents. And then the 4th thing is the fact that we are a faith-based community, and we're also nonprofit.
Thank you, Dana. I couldn't have said that better myself.
And thank you, John, for joining me today at the table with friends. So thanks for joining us today. John and I love sharing how Friends Fellowship is so unique and different from our competitors. Not only are we the only continuum of care locally, but we are also the only community in Wayne County that offers life care. As we discussed, there have been so many misnomers out in the community over the years, and I hope we've been able to explain how Friends Fellowship truly works. So what are your next steps now that you're interested in Friends Fellowship community? Give me a call and we can get you scheduled for a visit to learn more. Since the 1950s, Friends Fellowship community has been mission-driven. We have stayed true to our mission all of this time. Make sure to follow At the Table with Friends on YouTube to learn more about Friends Fellowship community and tips for senior living.